Ever feel like you're just drowning in information? Scrolling, reading, listening all the time, but the stuff that could actually help you feel different, it just gets lost.
Oh, absolutely. It's like information overload is the default setting these days.
It really is. Finding that clarity, that bit of peace in all the noise, it's tough, isn't it? Well, that's kind of why we're here. We sift through all that stuff, the articles, the research, maybe even your own notes, to pull out those key insights, those aha moments you need.
Making sense of the noise, basically.
Exactly. Hopefully making you feel a bit more informed, maybe a little lighter. And today we're doing a deep dive into a book that honestly has had a massive impact for so many people. Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now.
Yeah, it's huge. More than just a bestseller, it really struck a chord. A phenomenon, really.
Definitely. So our mission for this deep dive is pretty straightforward. We want to unpack the biggest ideas from The Power of Now.
Get to the core of it.
Right. And look at some real-life examples. How can you actually use these insights? Show you how they might help, dial down the stress, the anxiety, that constant overthinking we all seem to do.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's start with the absolute foundation, the bedrock of Tolle's whole thing, this moment, right now. The idea that this is the only thing that's truly real. It sounds almost, too simple, doesn't it? But if we're honest, how much time do we actually spend here mentally?
Very little for most of us. We're usually lost in the past or worrying about the future.
So why is this simple idea so hard to grasp? And why does he say it's so critical?
Well, it's incredibly radical, actually, how Tolle talks about time. He really turns our usual understanding on its head. He says, and this is a direct quote, "Time isn't precious at all because it's an illusion."
An illusion, wow.
Yeah. He goes on, "What you consider to be precious is not time, but the one point that is out of time, the now." So the implication is huge. The past, it's gone. It's just memory traces in the mind. And the future, it hasn't happened. It's a mental projection. Neither exists now.
That really clicks when you think about, say, being stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Classic example.
You're late.
Yeah.
And your mind just goes into overdrive.
Right.
Worrying about the meeting, how bad it'll be, beating yourself up.
Spinning out about a future that isn't even here yet.
Exactly. And you completely miss the fact that, right here, right now, in the car, you're actually okay.
Yeah.
You can breathe, maybe listen to something.
You could just be present with the sensation of sitting, breathing, but instead we're lost in that mental movie of future disaster.
Right.
And that example really shows the core lesson. Accepting the present moment, okay, I'm in traffic, lets you deal with it much better than fighting it or worrying about a future that doesn't exist yet.
It shifts your energy from resisting reality to just being with it.
Precisely. You stop wasting energy on what isn't real.
Okay, so our idea of time traps us. But what about our own minds? That voice in the head, the constant commentary. Tolle suggests that's maybe an even bigger source of our problem.
Definitely. He argues that a huge amount of our suffering comes because we completely identify with our thoughts.
Identify, meaning we think we are that voice.
Exactly. That voice inside the one worrying, judging, analyzing, remembering slights, planning anxieties. We take that internal monologue as me, as our core identity.
Right.
And Tolle says this identification is the problem because that voice is often negative, critical, fearful, or stuck in the past or future. It's rarely just peacefully here.
And then comes that massive insight. The idea that you are not your thoughts.
Yes, that's the breakthrough.
You can actually step back and just watch them from a neutral corner.
That's it, exactly. You become the observer, the witness, the awareness behind the thoughts. Think about replaying an argument in your head maybe hours later.
Oh, I do that. Getting all worked up again.
Right. You feel the anger, the frustration all over again, even though nothing is actually happening now. Tolle's point is, if you can learn to just notice those thoughts.
Like catch yourself doing it.
Yes. To consciously say internally, okay, I am aware that this thought pattern about the argument is arising right now. Just that simple act of noticing creates space.
Space between you and the thought.
Exactly. You shift perspective. You're no longer being the angry thought. You're aware of the angry thought. He calls this disidentification. It's realizing you're not the mental noise.
And from that space, you can just let it pass.
You can breathe. You can see it's just a thought, just energy. And often, it loses its power over you. It's incredibly freeing.
Wow. Okay, so disidentifying from thought. But then he talks about something else, this pain body. That one really grabbed me. It sounds almost like a thing living inside us.
Yeah, it's a powerful concept. He describes it as accumulated old emotional pain, like unresolved sadness, anger, trauma, grief from your past. It forms this sort of energy field within you.
And it's not just sitting there quietly.
No, that's the crucial part. According to Tolle, it's not passive. It's almost like a semi-autonomous entity that actively wants to survive. And how does it survive?
By feeding.
By feeding on more unhappiness. It looks for situations, or creates them, to trigger more pain because that's its food.
So that explains why sometimes a tiny little thing can set off a huge reaction.
Precisely. Like maybe your partner makes a small, slightly critical comment about, I don't know, forgetting the trash.
Right.
And suddenly it blows up into this massive fight about you never listen, or you don't respect me, or dredging up things from years ago. Tully would say that's the pain body hijacking the situation.
Using the small trigger to get its fix of negative energy.
Exactly. It's feeding on the drama, the anger, the hurt.
So the lesson then is, if you're present, you can actually spot it happening.
Yes. You can start to feel that familiar wave of negativity rising, that disproportionate reaction bubbling up, and you can recognize it. You can say internally, okay, that's the pain body activating.
That's not really me reacting to the trash. That's old stuff.
Right. That's an old pain pattern trying to run the show right now. And just recognizing it, that gives you a choice.
A choice not to just react automatically.
Exactly. Instead of getting sucked into the usual drama, feeding the pain body, you can choose to respond differently. Maybe calmly state your perspective, or just breathe and not engage the escalation.
So you break the cycle.
You break the cycle. You stop feeding it. It takes awareness, it takes practice, but it's incredibly powerful for changing those ingrained emotional patterns.
Okay, so being present, watching thoughts, recognizing the pain body.
Yeah.
This leads us to acceptance. Now, acceptance can sound a bit passive, maybe, like giving up.
Yeah, that's a common misconception. People hear acceptance and think it means resignation, like, I guess I just have to put up with this awful situation.
Right. Toll is very clear it's not that, though.
Not at all. He frames acceptance as something incredibly active and intelligent. It's about aligning yourself with the reality of the present moment, what is, right now, so you can act effectively from that place.
So it's not about liking the situation necessarily.
No, not at all. You don't have to like that you're stuck in traffic, or that you lost your job, or that someone was rude. Acceptance is simply acknowledging, okay, this is the reality I'm facing in this moment.
Instead of fighting it mentally.
Exactly. Instead of wasting huge amounts of energy wishing it were different, complaining about it, resisting what already is, acceptance stops that energy drain.
So let's take that missed job opportunity example. Someone ambitious might worry. Acceptance means losing drive.
Right, but think about the difference. Path A is resistance. This is unfair. I deserve that job. Why me? All that mental energy goes into bitterness, resentment, fighting reality.
Which achieves nothing, really.
Pretty much nothing productive. Path B is acceptance. Okay, I didn't get this job. That's disappointing. What can I learn from this experience? What's my next step?
So you accept the what is.
You accept the isness of the situation, learn what you can, and then you redirect that energy that wasn't wasted fighting reality towards constructive action, towards finding the next opportunity.
So acceptance isn't giving up on goals. It's about being smarter with your energy in the now.
Precisely. It's about not fighting unwinnable battles against reality itself. It's about effective engagement with the present, whatever it holds.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, what about this modern obsession we have? The constant doing. Productivity, hustle culture. Always chasing the next thing. How does Tolle see that fitting in? Or rather, not fitting in?
The cult of doing. Yeah, he sees that as a major obstacle to experiencing life, ironically.
How so? We feel like we have to be doing things to be happy or successful.
Right, but that focus keeps us perpetually chasing happiness in the future. When I finish this project, then I'll relax. When I get that promotion, then I'll feel fulfilled. When I go on vacation, then I'll enjoy life.
We're always postponing the good stuff.
Exactly. We completely overlook the fact that true peace, joy, that sense of aliveness, they can only ever be experienced now. They are qualities of being, not outcomes of doing.
It's like that example you hear sometimes. Eating a really amazing meal. But you're so busy thinking about your work meeting tomorrow, or scrolling on your phone, or planning your next errand.
You don't even taste the food. You don't notice the textures, the aromas, the company you're with.
You were physically there, but you weren't really there. You missed the whole experience.
Exactly. Your body was eating, but you, the conscious presence, were lost in thought.
So Tolle's saying we miss our actual lives by being lost in doing and thinking.
Pretty much. He encourages us to bring presence to our activities. Taste that food. Really feel the water in the shower. Truly listen to the person you're talking to. Notice the sky when you walk outside.
Experience life as it's happening.
Yes. It transforms mundane moments into something rich and alive. It connects you to the being underneath the doing.
Okay, so if we bring all these threads together, being present, watching thoughts, recognizing the pain body, acceptance, focusing on being, what's the ultimate point? Tolle talks about spiritual awakening, ending suffering. That sounds like a huge promise.
It is a huge promise, and it's really the culmination of all these practices. The awakening he speaks of isn't necessarily some dramatic mystical event, though it can be. More fundamentally, it's a shift in consciousness.
A shift from what to what?
From being identified with the thinking mind and the emotional pain body to realizing your true identity as the awareness, the consciousness, the stillness behind all of that.
Finding that quiet space inside.
Exactly. Discovering that deep, unshakable peace that's always there beneath the surface noise of the mind. It's disidentifying from the egoic self, which lives in time and fear, and recognizing yourself as timeless presence. That, he says, is the end of suffering, because suffering is created by the mind's resistance and identification.
And we've all had moments like that, haven't we? Little glimpses.
Oh, absolutely. Think about looking at a breathtaking sunset, or holding a newborn baby, or being totally lost in creating something you love.
Yeah, where your mind just goes quiet for a second,
Yeah.
and there's just peace, connection.
Exactly. Tolle suggests those aren't just random pleasant moments. Those are moments where you dropped into the first. Now, where you were fully present, fully connected, you were experiencing your true nature, free from the mind's chatter.
So those moments are like signposts, showing us what's possible.
Beautifully put. They're glimpses of our natural state, the state that becomes more accessible the more we practice presence, acceptance, and disidentification. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about uncovering who you already are beneath the layers of conditioning.
Wow. Okay, so after exploring all these really profound ideas, let's bring it right back down to earth for someone listening right now thinking, see, this sounds great, but how do I actually do this?
Yeah.
What are the practical, everyday takeaways?
Great question, because it really does come down to simple, consistent practices. Tolle offers several core things you can integrate right away.
Like what? What's step one?
Step one is just noticing your thoughts. Start becoming aware of the voice in your head without judging it. Just observe, oh, there's a worry thought, there's a judgment, like watching clouds drift by.
Okay, just notice. What else?
Use your breath as an anchor. Anytime you feel lost in thought, stressed, anxious, just bring your attention to the feeling of your breath coming in and going out, even for 1 or 2 breaths. It pulls you instantly back to the now.
Simple but powerful.
Very. Third, practice acceptance. When something difficult happens, notice your immediate mental resistance, the no, I don't want this, and consciously try to just allow the moment to be as it is, just for now. Remember, you can still act, but act from acceptance, not resistance.
Okay, notice thoughts.
Yeah.
Use breath, accept the moment.
Fourth, watch your emotions. When you feel that familiar tightness, anger, sadness starting up, ask yourself, is this situation really causing this intensity, or is this maybe the pain body stirring? Just asking the question can create distance.
Let's see if it's old stuff getting triggered.
Exactly. And finally, find moments of stillness. You don't need to meditate for an hour. Just take 1 minute, maybe while waiting for the kettle to boil, to just be still and aware. Feel the aliveness in your hands. Listen to the sounds around you without labeling them. Just be.
Notice thoughts. Anchor with breath. Accept the isness. Watch emotions for old patterns and find moments of stillness.
Those are the core practices. They seem small, but done consistently, they can fundamentally shift your experience.
It really underscores the simplicity behind it all, doesn't it? It's not about complex techniques, but these subtle shifts in awareness that can genuinely change how you feel day to day.
Absolutely. The power is in the consistent application of these simple awareness tools.
So we've really journeyed through the heart of the power of now today, exploring the reality of the present moment, understanding our minds and emotions, the power of acceptance, and the shift from doing to being, all leading towards this idea of awakening.
It covers so much ground, yet always comes back to this single point, now.
Right, and perhaps leaves us with a final thought to ponder.
Maybe this. If true peace and joy, as Tolle suggests, really only exist in the day, now how might your entire life begin to shift? How might you feel? If you just committed to experiencing one more moment each day, just one, with complete presence and acceptance.
Whether that's drinking your tea or walking to your car or listening to someone, just one more moment, fully there.
What could that change?
That's definitely something powerful to reflect on. We really encourage you to take that question with you and see where it leads in your own life.